Very good afternoon, dear students. We have already started your open course paper Microbes and the Environment. So, we have discussed in the previous class the basic concept of environment and ecosystem and the food chain, food web and various tropical level. As you all know, microorganisms have a profound role in the environment. They have so many functions in this ecosystem for maintaining the ecological balance and the entire universe. They have so many relevant roles. They play vital role in the soil system. They play vital role in the water system, and they are commonly present in the air also. And due to their importance in their environment, how they are surviving in this environment, and what are the parameters or factors that directly influence their growth and reproduction and proliferation in the environments are very important. And the microorganisms are commonly present in the environment. So environment provides suitable factors for their growth, multiplication and their function in the ecosystem. So that is what we are going to discuss the next topic in module number 1 of this particular paper. The next paper is environmental factors influencing the growth and survival of microbes. The environmental factors that influence the growth and survival of microorganism in this world. So before we are going to discuss the details about this particular topic, you should know that what are microorganisms. So simply, microorganisms, micro means very small, organism means living things, and they are very small organism you cannot see in your naked eye. In order to see that organism, you require one specialized instrument called a microscope. I hope you heard about microscope. And these microorganisms are otherwise known as microbes. They are microscopic organisms that exist as unicellular, sometimes multicellular or cell clusters. Unicellular means they have a single cell. Say for example bacteria, they have a single cell. Then multicellular, some of the organisms, they are multicellular in nature, and some of the organisms are clusters or groups. As I said, they are widely spread in the nature and are beneficial to the life. They commonly present in the nature, they ubiquitous in nature, and they are providing so many beneficial, useful role to the life, including human beings, plants and animals. But some of the organisms are very seriously harmful to the health. They cause diseases and infection. Example, the current pandemic COVID-19 that causes the smallest organism in the world, that is known as SARS coronavirus 2. and this comes under virus, that is a microorganism. So like that, you are having so many organisms in this ecosystem. Each type of organism has their cellular composition, morphology, locomotion and reproduction. So what are cellular composition? The composition and the ingredients of their cells. Then morphology. What is morphology? The size, shape and arrangement of their cell. That is known as morphology. Then locomotion. What is locomotion? The movement of the organism from one location to another. Then their division or multiplication or reproduction. How they produce the daughter cells. Then there are so many types of microorganisms are present in this environment. One is prokaryotes. Next one is eukaryotes. So prokaryotes are single-celled organisms. They are commonly known as bacteria. They don't have a nucleus in their cell, and the nuclear material called DNA, that is not encircled with a well-defined nuclear membrane. That is why it is known as prokaryon means nucleus. Pro, okay? They don't have a nucleus and they don't have a nuclear membrane. Okay, they have certain DNA that is scattered inside the body. And examples are bacteria. The bacteria are classified into two groups. One is eubacteria, next one is archaeobacteria. The eubacteria are the bacteria that present in the common environmental condition. The present soil, water and air, that is common environmental condition. Next one is archaeobacteria. They are prokaryotes. They are not common bacteria. Their compositions are different and they are able to survive in the extreme climate condition. Say for example, very hot condition or so cold condition. Okay, they are able to survive in extreme environmental condition. That is known as archaeobacteria. Then the microorganisms are otherwise, some more microorganisms are there. They are eukaryotes, eukaryotic microorganisms. Examples: fungi, algae and protozoa. Okay, fungi are multicellular organism. Okay, then they have unicellular also. That organisms are, you have heard that yeast. Okay, so what is yeast? So if you prepare the dosa, okay, and you can see that the dosa batter the next day, that is frothed and fermented and become large quantity. That is due to the activity of yeast. Okay, then there are multicellular organism called malt. Okay, so you can see bread malt, bread fungus. Okay, or food spoilage by fungus. You can see some green color or black color or brown color fungus commonly contaminated in the food. Next one is known as algae. They are photosynthetic organisms, greenish colored in pond, lake, ocean, etc. You can see the growth of algae. Then the next eukaryotic organisms are protozoa. So you know that is known as parasite. Okay, protozoa. Okay, example amoeba. Amoeba is not an organism, but amoeba is not a eukaryotic microorganism, but there is a microorganism called entamoeba. Okay, entamoeba histolytica. Okay, that is causing a disease. Okay, so that is known as amoebic dysentery. Okay, amoebic dysentery. That next organism is viruses. Viruses are neither prokaryotes or eukaryotes. Okay, so commonly you know that viruses are the smallest organism in the world. Okay, so there are so many types of viruses: HIV, hepatitis, okay, SARS coronavirus, MERS coronavirus, influenza virus, Zika virus, okay, Nipah virus. All those things you might have heard. They are known as viruses, the small organisms in the world. Then these are the some of the pictures of those organisms what I said. Okay, so here you can see bacteria. I told you about locomotion. They can see certain type of appendages from one place to another. They can see they will move this organism. These are a group of clustered cells. Okay, then again some type of another bacteria. This bacteria you see they have some appendages in their cell. This one also. Okay, so this is known as flagella. Okay, and here also you can see some appendages. Then these appendages are known as fimbriae. Then this bacteria doesn't have such kind of appendages. Then there are small viruses you can see. Okay, this one. Then these are mushroom, they are fungi. Then you can see certain small viruses that infect in the bacteria. They are known as bacteriophages. Then you can see this one, a multicellular cell. Okay, a bread mold. You can see this one, a common type of fungus that is commonly present in bread mold. And this is an electron microscopy picture. How beautiful it is, you see. Then these are yeast. You can see this is rounded cell, and you can see that is multiplied by budding. Okay, you might have studied in your school. Okay, so these are the some of the examples of microorganism. And why do you want this microorganism in the environment? So what are the major role of this microorganism in the environment? I have told in my first class, they plays very vital role in the soil, okay, water system and air system. Okay, all the three phases it plays a very vital role. Then maintaining the biogeochemical cycles. Okay, you have heard about carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, water cycle, okay, sulfur cycle, etc. Maintaining all those things, microorganisms are very important. Then the fertility of the soil, fertility. Okay, the all soil, this is a fertile soil, it is required for the agricultural crops. And this fertility primarily by nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all those components will be maintained inside the soil by the bacteria, fungi, etc. Next one, water treatment. Okay, then contaminated water can be treated and they can be purified by bacteria. That is another important. Next one is primary production. Last class we have discussed, most of the plants are primary producers. Okay, those plants they have utilized, they have undergone the food for consumers. And some of the bacteria like cyanobacteria are primary producers. They are photosynthetic. Algae are primary producers. Then some of the organisms are decomposers. Decomposers means, you know that, so once the dead bodies and all those organisms, once it is when you are burying inside the soil, okay, so the microorganism acted on the dead body and that will be decomposed. Okay, and it will be release the nutrients inside the soil. Next one is bioremediation. Okay, so bio means biology, remediate means detoxifying, remove. In lot of contaminants are present in the ecosystem, so many pollutants, and these pollutants are highly dangerous to the health, and these pollutants can be removed by microorganism. That is known as bioremediation. We will discuss. Next one is bio-leaching. Okay, so leaching in the sense the making the metal in the pure form. Okay, silver, gold, copper, that is already present inside the deeper layer of the soil. Then you have to purify from the parent ore, that is known as bio-leaching, and microorganisms are very, very important. Next one is known as bio-insecticides and bio-pesticides. You know that there are a lot of insects, they are massively affected in the environmental crops. So there are a lot of crop damages happening in the ecosystem. So microorganism can be used as a potential insecticides or herbicides to kill other organisms. Okay, so that is known as bio-insecticide. Then we can create compost. Okay, biogas we can create. Okay, and this process is mainly due to microorganism. Okay, and these are the some of the most important role of microorganism in this ecosystem. Thus the growth and survival of this organism is very, very important in the ecosystem. Thus environment will help them to grow by providing so many factors. So these factors are collectively known as environmental factors, and this is provided by the environment itself, and that is very much essential for their growth and survival for doing all those functions. There are three important types of environmental factors. That is the next topic mentioned in the syllabus. Physical factors, chemical factors, and biological factors. Physical, chemical, and biological. In your syllabus, they have mentioned all the three. Physical means the physical parameters. Chemical means the chemical constituents and their parameters. Then biological parameters are the biological related parameters. Then so we are going to discuss one by one in detail as mentioned in the syllabus. So the physical factors are temperature, light, osmotic pressure, hydrostatic pressure. These are the physical factors. Chemical factors are pH, hydrogen ion concentration, oxygen, carbon dioxide. Okay, so these are important parameters for their survival. Then microbiological factors. Okay, the presence of other organisms. Okay, so these are the major role in the organism. These are the major factors that is present, that is provided by the environment. Now we are going to discuss one by one. First one, physical factors. So physical factors, the first one is temperature. Okay, temperature. So the bacteria have a minimum, optimum, and maximum temperature for their growth. There should be ideal, it should be minimum, and there should be a maximum. And depending on the temperature range, the bacteria or microorganisms are commonly classified into three groups, or some textbook it is mentioned as 4 groups. Okay, so 3 main groups are there. Okay, what is based on which factor? Based on the optimum growth temperature. Okay, optimum growth temperature. First one is known as psychrophiles. It is pronounced as psychro, P is silent, psychrophiles. Next one is mesophiles. Next one is thermophiles. Next one is hyperthermophiles. These are the 4 important types of various factors. Then psychrophiles are nothing but cold loving bacteria. They want a little bit cold to live and survive. Then their optimum growth temperature is minus 5 degrees centigrade to 15 degrees centigrade. You know that 15 degree the temperature in December, okay, some 16, 17, okay, that is highly cold in the morning, isn't it? So that particular condition, minus 5, you imagine, less than 0. No organism can survive in this particular temperature, but microorganism can survive. There are bacteria, they can survive inside the refrigerator in your fridge actually. Please note that, okay. They are usually found in Arctic and Antarctic region. You know that Arctic and Antarctic regions are commonly cold regions, okay. This kind of organism, they can survive in that particular climate conditions. And in streams fed by glaciers, okay, ice and all those places you can see. Mesophiles are the organism. They grow best in the room temperature or moderate temperature. Their ideal or optimum temperature is between 25 to 45 degrees centigrade, okay. Their optimum temperature is between 25 to 45 degrees centigrade. Most of the bacteria are mesophile, including the soil bacteria, common soil bacteria, and bacteria that is commonly present inside our body, in our intestine, our stomach, all those in our body temperature, you know, that is 37 degrees centigrade. So that particular temperature, the bacteria can survive. Such kind of organisms are known as mesophiles. Next one is known as thermophiles. Thermo means, you know, heat, okay. That is heat loving bacteria. They require heat for their survival and growth. And their optimum temperature is between 45 to 70 degrees centigrade, okay. 45 degrees centigrade to 70 degree centigrade. And are commonly found in hot springs and compost heaps. Wherever there is a cold region, hot regions are there, that particular region, the bottom of soil, okay, or compost heap where there is a lot of heat, okay. Such kind of organisms are known as thermophiles. Then next one is hyperthermophiles. These bacteria can survive in the extreme temperature range at very high temperature. Their optimum temperature is 70 to 110. 100 degrees boiling temperature. Please note that, okay. Bacteria can survive at 100 degrees centigrade. No organism, including humans and animals, nothing can be survived. But this bacteria or some organism can survive at this particular temperature. There are some organisms, they can survive at 120 degrees centigrade, okay. The organisms are usually known as archaeobacteria. That is what I told you. These bacteria are they can survive in the extreme climatic condition, okay. So here you can see in the volcanoes, okay, or a lot of lavas, okay, such kind of places you can see hydrothermal vents, okay, in the deeper in the ocean, okay, there you can see such kind of a temperature. So depending upon the temperature, these are the main classification criteria. I hope you understood how temperature is a very important physical parameter for the growth of microorganism. Next one is known as light. When you talk about light, sunlight, okay, the microorganism require light for their growth, okay. Proper light is required. Such kind of bacteria are known as phototrophic bacteria. Photo means light, trophic means they require, okay, they love light actually. And most of the bacteria, they can grow even without light also. They can grow in the dark condition also. And there are some organisms, they can survive in presence of radiation, but most of the organism in presence of UV light, ultraviolet rays, this bacteria will be killed, okay, or bacteria can reduce the bacterial growth. Then certain bacteria can produce only at the presence of light, okay. certain bacteria can produce certain pigment, and due to that particular pigment they will be able to show some colors. You can see some of the organisms are beautiful, I mean red color or green color or blue color, light pigmentation. That is due to the production of pigments are due to light. In the ocean, the aquatic life, the most of the process that is happening in the bottom of the ocean, that is light dependent. That photosynthesis is happening. They are the primary producers. Last class we have seen what is a photosynthesis. And algae and blue-green algae called cyanobacteria. Okay, they are the principal photosynthetic organism. And where the light is penetrating in the water body, that region is known as photic zone. Okay, photic, which all are the place, the upper region, the water is penetrated from the sun, that is known as photic region. That is photic upper region. Then the photosynthetic region, that is known as photic region, approximately 50 to 125 meter from the top to bottom. If you travel from top to bottom to the sea or any of the river, 50 to 125 meter, that region there will be sunlight, the microorganism and the algae, green plants, etc. they are able to produce their own food material by using this light. That process is known as photosynthesis. So this is the role what light provides. Now I hope you understood why light is very, very important parameter. Without light they cannot produce their own food material. That is the main thing. Next one is osmotic pressure. Okay, osmotic pressure. So osmotic pressure, you know that the pressure, microorganisms obtain almost all their nutrients or food in solution from the surrounding water. Okay, microorganisms obtain their food from the surrounding water. Okay, so the factors such as osmotic pressure and salt concentration. Osmotic pressure and salt concentration of the solution will affect the growth of microorganism. Okay, so there are some organisms, they require high osmotic pressure. Okay, the such kind of an organism called osmophilic bacteria. Osmophilic bacteria are nothing but they require high osmotic pressure. Certain bacteria, they require high salt concentration. Salt. Okay, certain for their growth and survival they require salt concentration. Such kind of bacteria are known as halophilic organism. Okay, halophilic organism. Then if the bacteria suddenly exposed to a hypertonic solution. Okay, what do you mean by hypertonic solution? The solution that has lot of salt content. Okay, if you place the bacteria into the salt content, what will happen? There will be an osmotic imbalance inside the cell and the surrounding water. Then what will happen? The molecule, okay, so the molecule will be coming from the bacteria towards the outside medium. Okay, if there is a hypertonic environment, the salt concentration is high, the bacteria has lot of fluid content, that fluid content will be leaked out. Then due to that, the osmotic shrinkage of the bacterial cell will take place. Okay, due to this particular process, what will happen? The osmotic shrinkage, okay, the shrinkage will be happening because the water content of the bacterial cell has released out. Okay, and this process is known as plasmolysis. Okay, so that is very, very important. Similarly, the other way, if the bacteria from a concentrated solution to suddenly a distilled water, okay, that doesn't have any salt concentration, if you place, then what will happen? The water will migrate just opposite to this particular process. The water will migrate from the surrounding medium to the bacterial cell. Okay, where there is high salt concentration, to that particular region the water will flow. Okay, the first case, the water will be flowing towards outside because there the salt content is more, inside is less. Okay, then the water content will be released from the cell. Here the second case, bacterial cell has lot of salt content, the surrounding medium of water that doesn't have salt content, then the water will be flowing from surrounding medium to the bacterial cell. Okay, that is, and what will happen? Due to this particular process, the bacterial cell will become swelling will happen, swelling and bursting of the cell will takes place. Okay, bursting of cell will takes place. Okay, that cell will become very big and bursting will takes place. This particular process is known as plasmoptysis. Okay, this is plasmolysis and this is known as plasmoptysis. Okay, so that is why osmotic pressure is very, very important. Salt content is very, very important. So the salt content and osmotic pressure, either it will create a plasmolysis or it will create plasmoptysis. So optimum salt concentration should be, or osmotic pressure should be very much essential for the growth and multiplication of a bacteria. The next one is hydrostatic pressure. Another pressure is known as hydrostatic pressure. Okay, so mainly this is inside the water body. Say for example the bottom of ocean. Okay, the pressure at the bottom of vertical column of ocean, if you travel from top to bottom, the pressure will be varied. Okay, so every 10 meter there is a variation of 14.7 lb per inch square. Okay, that much pressure will vary. Okay, the unit of pressure is lb. Okay, so the ocean floor has, the bottom of ocean has high pressure. Okay, so that will affect in the change of the chemical reaction inside the ocean and the solubility of the nutrients and the boiling point of water. Okay, the boiling point of water, the water in which it will boil, chemical reaction, the reaction between the chemicals, and the solubility. Okay, the ability of a nutrients to dissolve in the water, that is solubility. Okay, this will change due to what? The hydrostatic pressure. Then there are bacteria, they are able to grow at the high atmospheric or hydrostatic pressure, that is known as barophilic organism. The organism, they are able to grow at a high atmospheric pressure is known as barophilic organism. And these barophilic organisms are isolated from Pacific Ocean. Okay, it is isolated from Pacific Ocean, approximately 1000 to 10,000 meter deeper layer from the top to bottom of the sea. Okay, from the ocean they can isolate, and they grow at a psychrophilic temperature. I told you, please remember that psychrophiles are the organisms, they are able to survive at a low temperature. Okay, approximately 2 degree centigrade. So this hydrostatic pressure are very, very important. So these are the physical factors: temperature, light, osmotic pressure, hydrostatic pressure. Okay, the next one is the chemical factors. This is very, very important. The chemical factor, the main chemical factor is a pH. You know that pH is nothing but hydrogen ion concentration. pH, you might have heard pH. The negative logarithm to the hydrogen ion concentration is known as pH. And this is very, very important in the organism. Okay, in the pH of our body fluid also, it is very, very important. So it is an essential factor for the growth of microbes. So depending on the pH, there are 3 types of pH. One is 0, below 0 and above 0. 0 is neutral. Okay, below is known as below 0 to 1. Okay, that is known as acidic. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that is acidic. Below below 7. Okay, the pH, it is there are three types. The middle value is not 0, it is 7. Okay, so below 7, that is known as acidic. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, above 7, that is known as alkaline or basic. Okay, so the organism, they are able to survive at this acidic condition. The pH less than 7, such kind of organisms are known as acidophilic organism or acidophiles. Then if the bacteria or microorganism, they are able to survive above 7, the pH above 7, such kind of organisms are known as alkalophiles. Okay, and this bacteria are able to produce several organic acid which reduce the pH of the medium and restrict the growth of other organisms. Okay, so the bacteria, they are able to produce organic acid. If acid is produced in any environment, okay, then the pH of the system will be reduced. Then that particular pH change will be restricting the growth of bacteria. And optimum pH is very, very important for their growth, adequate growth of microorganism. The optimum pH is extremely important for the ideal growth of microorganism. And most of our pathogens that which causes in the body, okay, especially bacteria, they require a pH of slightly basic, 7.2 to 7.6. Okay, so that is the pH. This is a slight basic pH. 7 is neutral. This 7.2 is a little bit basic. So these are basic pH. There are some of the organisms like lactobacillus. Okay, this lactobacillus is one of the bacteria commonly present in your milk and milk product and curd. Okay, that is commonly present. Okay, that require lower pH for their growth, acidic pH for their growth. Okay, so depending upon the pH, the microorganism can be classified into acidophiles and alkalophiles. Okay, that is what we have to see, and they require an optimum pH of 7.2 to 7. For their excellent growth. Then the next chemical factor is oxygen. As we used to breathe oxygen, microorganisms are also have a lot of important in this particular chemical parameter. Okay, depending upon the oxygen, oxygen is also very, very important for the microbial growth. Okay, on the basis of oxygen requirement, the bacteria are classified into 3 groups. Okay, some textbook that is 4 groups. Okay, so based on the oxygen requirement, the bacteria are classified into 3 groups. The bacteria commonly present in the environment are classified into 3 groups. Number 1, aerobes. Next one, facultative anaerobes. Next one is anaerobes. Next one is microaerophile or microaerophilic organism. These are the 4 classification. Now I will tell you what are each category. As the name indicate, aerobe. Okay, aerobes are, they are nothing but oxygen is strictly required for their growth. Okay, certain bacteria without oxygen they cannot survive. That is known as aerobes. These organisms are known as obligate aerobe. Obligate means strict. Okay, strict aerobe, because due to the requirement of oxygen, if oxygen is not there, they will not grow, they will die. Okay, example, bacteria called Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Okay, this is the name of the bacteria, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. As I said, they will be able to produce a pigment called picocyanin, that is a green colored pigment. Okay, next one is facultative anaerobes. So facultative means these are bacteria that can grow both in the presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen. They can grow in both case. If oxygen is there, they can grow. or oxygen is not there, then also they can grow. Most of the organism that causes the disease, okay, so food poisoning, okay, typhoid, okay, cholera, all those organisms are facultative anaerobes. Okay, facultative anaerobes means they are able to survive in the presence or absence of oxygen. Example, a bacteria called Escherichia coli, simply called as E. coli, common food poisoning bacteria, E. coli. Okay, so that is the, if you contaminated water, if you drink, then you will be getting food poisoning. Okay, that E. coli will be infected. Okay, that is a facultative anaerobes. Next one is anaerobes. What are that? That organism, they are also known as obligate anaerobes. Here I told you obligate aerobe. They are strict aerobe. Here it is obligate anaerobes. That means to say they are unable to grow in the presence of oxygen. They don't want oxygen. Oxygen is toxic for such a kind of bacteria. They require carbon dioxide for their growth. Okay, anaerobic organism require carbon dioxide for their growth, and they cannot grow in the presence of oxygen in the environment. A bacteria commonly caused tetanus. Okay, this is a disease. You might have heard tetanus. Okay, so that is known as Clostridium tetani. Okay, Clostridium tetani. Whenever you write the scientific name of organism, please note that it should be in italics or you should underline separately. This is known as the genus part. This is known as the species part. You have to write and underline separately. Then only it will be correct. When you are learning this biology, this is the one of the basic lesson in your life. Please note that. Next one is microaerophilic organism. Okay. So such kind of organisms are, these organisms are able to grow very small presence of oxygen. Very little amount of oxygen is there, then they can grow. Okay, they can grow. Okay, so and bacteria called Helicobacter pylori. Okay, so this bacteria commonly causes the ulcer in our stomach. Some people will be getting ulcer. Okay, that ulcer is causing by this Helicobacter pylori. They are able to survive in the very less amount of oxygen. Okay, in the stomach, you know that will be present. Okay, so that will be present. Those people, they got ulcers, this bacteria will be causing, and sometimes it leads to cancers also. This ulcer leads to cancer also. So these are the major important aspects based on the oxygen requirement, how the bacteria are classified. Then the next one is carbon dioxide. So I told you, microorganism like oxygen, carbon dioxide is also very, very important. Certain microorganism, they require carbon dioxide for their growth. If oxygen is absent, means carbon dioxide is required. Such kind of organisms are known as anaerobes. Okay, anaerobic organism. Okay, so most of the bacteria require a small amount of carbon dioxide for their growth. Most of the organism, they require the carbon dioxide, very small amount of carbon dioxide for their growth. And this carbon dioxide is generally provided by the environment. You know that when photosynthesis are happening, we have discussed in the last class. Okay, so we used to take oxygen and we release carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide will be utilized by various organisms. It can be produced by the bacteria, and plant also utilize that particular carbon dioxide due to the cellular metabolism. Okay, then one pathogenic organism is known as Brucella abortus. Okay, a bacterial disease called brucellosis. Okay, that is a cattle-borne infection transmitted from a cattle to human. Okay, so that is known as Brucella abortus, which require a high level of carbon dioxide. Okay, this bacteria for their survival require high level of carbon dioxide, approximately 5 to 10% for the growth. Okay, this organism require approximately 5 to 10% of carbon dioxide or CO2 for their growth. And the bacteria that require high level of carbon dioxide for growth and survival are known as capnophilic bacteria. Okay, capnophilic bacteria are the organism, they require high level of carbon dioxide for their growth and survival. Okay, that is known as capnophilic bacteria. That is, they are strict anaerobic bacteria. Okay, this is all about chemical factors. So these three are the chemical factors mentioned in the syllabus. One is pH, next one is oxygen, next one is carbon dioxide. Next one is the biological factors. First one, the other organism. Say for example, human, animals and plants. Okay, this the surface, the body of all the organism has lot of bacteria. Okay, the biological factors, the environment has lot of organism, trees, okay, lot of small organism, forest organism, okay, fishes, okay, amphibians. All these organisms are biological agents. So this organism help for their growth. Okay, and these biological agents, they have a cellular component. The organism, they have so many cellular component, and the cellular components will be one of the most important biological factors for their growth. So all the organisms, cellular composition and component that is present in the bacteria is completely different from that is compared to fungi. Then that is completely different from algae, etc. Then the cell wall. Okay, the composition of the cell wall. So outermost cover of the bacterial cell is known as a cell wall. Cell wall will give the rigidity and shape of the bacteria. Based on the cell wall composition, all the bacteria in the world are classified into two groups. One is gram positive, one is gram negative. Depending upon what? Based on the cell wall composition. Okay, based on the cell wall composition, the bacteria are classified into two groups, gram positive and gram negative. Then just below the cell wall, there is another membrane called cytoplasmic membrane or cell membrane. Okay, they are known as plasma membrane. Okay, so the composition of the plasma membrane is also one of the important biological factors. Then the next one is the composition of biomolecules. Okay, composition of biomolecules like proteins, carbohydrates, fats or lipids, and the combination of all those things. And another important thing, water is one of the most important agent for survival of this particular organism, the water content. Okay, then their genetic composition. I told you, inside the bacteria they don't have a nucleus. The DNA is segregated. Okay, in the DNA is it is totally placed in the form of a supercoiled nature, and they have a genetic information. Okay, and that genetic information, genetic composition in their DNA, it will be varied. And the mode of reproduction. Okay, how that will be reproduced, how new cells will be produced. In the case of bacteria, it will be by using binary fission. Okay, the mode of reproduction in the case of bacteria are binary fission, but in the case of fungi there are two types, unicellular called yeast, that is by budding. Okay, then mold, other method. Both sexual and asexual reproductions are happening in the case of fungi. Okay, so similarly other organisms are also, other type of reproductions also present another organism. Then their nutritional requirement, they require carbon. Okay, if they utilize carbon dioxide as a sole source of carbon, such kind of organisms are known as autotrophs. We have discussed in the last class. Okay, so then if the organism they used inorganic compounds as their carbon source, that is known as heterotrophs. Okay, heterotrophs. Then similarly nitrogen components. Then some organism they require certain vitamins, okay, growth factors in their for their growth. Okay, in addition to the normal growth, they require certain special nutrients, special substance. Such kind of organisms are known as fastidious organism. Okay, fastidious organisms are the organism they require special kind of nutrients in addition to the normal nutrients for their growth. These are the various biological parameters that is commonly present. The first biological parameters I have not written here, the plants, animals and other microorganisms, okay, the water content, okay, and all the cellular machine, all the surface of organisms, okay, all living organisms, okay, so the skin of so many organisms, the microorganisms can present. So these all are the biological component. Okay, so this is all about the major environmental parameters that is required or influence the growth of microorganism in the environment. So that's all, dear students, we can conclude today's class. So once again we can glance through what are the main points studied in this particular unit. So what are microorganisms? Microorganisms are the organism we cannot see in our naked eye. Okay, their major types are prokaryotic microorganisms and eukaryotic microorganisms. Prokaryotic microorganisms are bacteria. Eukaryotic microorganisms are fungi, both yeast and mold, then algae and protozoa. Then viruses are not comes under any of the family. Then what are the role of microorganism in the environment? Why microorganism is very, very important? What are the major function they perform in the ecosystem? We have discussed. Then what are the major parameters that affect the growth of microorganism? Physical parameter, first one is temperature. On the basis of temperature range, the microorganisms are classified into psychrophiles, mesophiles, thermophiles and hyperthermophiles. You know what are the main things. Next one is light. Based on the light, the organisms are classified phototrophic organism, okay, and photosynthetic organism. Next one is osmotic pressure and salt concentration. Okay, so the organism they require high salt concentrations are known as halophiles. They require high osmotic pressure is known as osmophilic organism. The next one is hydrostatic pressure. If the organism require high atmospheric pressure, such kind of organisms are known as barophilic organism. Then these are the major physical factors. Then comes the chemical factors. We have discussed a pH, okay, hydrogen ion concentration. Depending upon the pH, there are two types. 7 is the normal or neutral. Below 7 and above 7 there is a pH. One is known as acidic pH. The bacteria is known as bacteria that love the acidic pH is known as lower pH is known as acidophiles. Then next one is alkalophiles. Okay, the bacteria that love in the alkaline conditions are known as alkalophiles. The next one is oxygen. It's very, very important. Based on the oxygen concentration, the microorganisms are classified into aerobic bacteria, facultative anaerobes, then anaerobic bacteria, then microaerophilic bacteria. Aerobic organism, they require oxygen. Facultative anaerobic organism, in the presence or absence of oxygen, they can survive. Then anaerobic organism, they cannot survive in the presence of oxygen. They require carbon dioxide. Oxygen is toxic for such a kind of organism. The next one is microaerophilic organism. They can survive in the little bit concentration of oxygen. They can survive. These are the classification. Next one is carbon dioxide. The presence of carbon dioxide. If the organism require high concentration of the carbon dioxide, such kind of organisms are known as capnophilic bacteria. Capnophilic. Then such kind of organisms are known as anaerobes. Okay. Then we have discussed the major biological factor. Biological factors are plants, animals, and the other microorganisms and other living things. Okay. Then we have discussed the nutrients, nutrient contents, genetic content, reproduction, cellular components. All other important information. So these are the major concepts that is mentioned in the syllabus. in these topics, dear students. So these are the major textbook you can refer. So many microbiology textbooks, all these microbiology textbooks are available in the lab, especially microbiology concepts and application. Very simple textbook is this, very big textbook, and you will be able to understand whatever I have taught. Okay, so all those things. Okay, then similarly they have mentioned in your syllabus microbial ecology fundamentals and application by Richard Bartha and Ronaldum Atlas. They can you will be able to see these particular things also. Okay, so this is all about the references. Okay, so thank you, dear students. If you are having any clarification, you can ask me, and you can mail me, or you can call me, or you can write me. So thank you very much.